Hey, all right, it's live. So hey, everybody, I'm Adam, and with me is Jenny. So I'm going to mute my mic and let her talk real quick because we're having some crazy feedback issues. So one sec. This is where we talk about stuff beforehand. And when I say things like, I'm going to mute my mic and let Jenny talk, she's going to take that to mean that means she can talk. So now I'm going to mute my mic and Jenny's going to talk.
And I'm going to unmute my mic, and he's going to mute his speakers so that I don't get the awesome feedback.
Muted. All right, man, we are just a complete technology train wreck right now.
Which is fine.
Okay. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so we're going to talk about Portland real quick. And sorry about the literal nose view. So I got this laptop a little while ago, and it turns out the webcam is down at the bottom, which is very odd. So I'm used to looking up at the top. So
I'm going to try to look at the camera as much as possible because I don't want you to look up my nose. Anyway, so Portland.
So I wanted to introduce you real quick, and just in case you guys haven't seen the page or you aren't familiar with us, but me and Jenny, me being Adam, we are Bearded Goat Trail Running with this very professional slide. But that's us. Actually, this is, I think, a couple weeks ago. Right now, we live in upstate New York. We've been trail runners for many years, and this was us probably before a run because we look not very sweaty and pretty happy. So
that's got to be pre-run.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. So anyways, that's us. We do all sorts of stuff as far as trail running, personally, as well as with Bearded Goat Trail Running. I'm just trying to think of how to best to explain it. We're just personal trail runners, and with Bearded Goat Trail Running, specifically what we do is one, we just like to talk about trail running as well as doing it, and then travel, which is obviously what we're going to be talking about today with Portland.
We found out that as we were kind of getting further and further into trail running, we started designing our vacations to optimize our trail running. So we would find the places that were closest to the best trails, and we'd find the best places to go eat, to fuel the trail running. So we really wanted to kind of bring that to other people too, and to bring kind of our experience with going on vacations that centered around trail running.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to keep the slide up for a little bit longer. I think it's better than just staring at the screen or us, but I'll bring it off in a minute. But yeah, that's a little bit about us. And if anybody ever has any questions or you're curious about anything, just leave a comment or anything like that, and we'll be happy to respond. Yeah. So a big part of us is getting out and traveling and kind of wrapping that around trail running. So without further ado, we're going to talk about a place we do know a little bit about. Although we're in upstate New York, we both spent a lot of time around Portland. We did live in Seattle at one point, and I've lived near Portland. But we go back every once in a while, and so we just wanted to talk about some of the resources mostly, and then some of the reasons to go out there.
Luckily, Portland is a really active city, so there's a lot of activities, not only running, kayaking and biking and everything. So it's, a fairly green city. It's just full of people who like to get out in nature. So it makes it kind of an easy first one for us to do, specifically since we know it too.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm going to bring up a fun little sheet we have here so that we can pretend like we know everything. Just kidding. We had an outline that disappeared on me.
The baby steps of broadcasting together for the first time.
Okay, so Portland, Oregon, if you're not familiar with it, it's up in the northern part of Oregon. It's got a major airport. It's beautiful. Hopefully you've seen Portlandia, and that's not what it's like, but you've seen a little bit about it. It gets kind of a billing as like the lesser Seattle, but I'm a big fan of it being its own city and very much its own geography. To me, it's similar to Seattle in that you've got a lot of the mountains, you've got a lot of hills, and you've got close access to water. But beyond that, they're very different places.
It's a very temperate climate. It doesn't get too hot in the summer and doesn't get too cold in the wintertime, which makes running year round a very good possibility. If not, you basically can run all year round. So.
Yeah, so if you're going to be in the area, I would say it's very easy to find trails. Okay, it's one of those cities. It's very friendly to biking, to running, to pedestrians. So even if you're in the city itself, you can find trails very easily. One of the biggest and probably well-known would be Forest Park. And for people who are used to running like single track stuff, things like that, this might not be your thing. But again, if you're in the city or you're stuck, for like a conference or something, that's a great place to start. It's on the edge of the city. It doesn't take long to get there. You could probably even take a bus. To be honest, I don't know. But
so I know not the last time, but one of the times I visited Portland, there was these rose gardens, and there was like an oriental type of a garden. Do you know if that's up by any kind of bigger parks where there's running around there too?
That's probably connects to Forest Park, so that's up by the rose gardens. So
gorgeous. And if you're there when the roses are blooming, it not only smells wonderful, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah. Let's see, what else? Major attractions, I would say, as far as the city, I mean, it's Portland. There's a lot of really good stuff.
There's a lot of good culture. Food is big. Beer is big. So if you like breweries, there's a ton of pubs and tap rooms and breweries just kind of all over the place. In fact, I don't know if you can stumble into any part of the city without running into a brewery or two.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll do a write-up on Portland and put it on the blog before too long. But yeah, there's just a ton, some really great food. I'm not going to even make recommendations here. It's like you could, throw a rock and hit a good place to get some beer and food. So, let's see, as far as other trails, so you're really close to Mount Hood, which has some amazing stuff on it. So in the winter, obviously great for skiing and snowboarding, but there's some really good trails out there. So once you head east from Portland, you can go out, and on the way you'll hit Multnomah Falls, which I highly recommend. Yeah, some great elevation. I ran it probably 2-3 months ago on a trip out there. Yeah, I should pull up my GPX data when I write the blog post, but yeah, it's really steep. The area is called the Gorge for a reason. So some beautiful, beautiful runs, and you look out north at Washington, actually, across the Columbia River. So you can do that and then head out to Mount Hood, and there's just that whole stretch heading east along the highway. There's just trails. So
actually, one of our first dates that we went on was at a place called Beacon Rock, which was a really nice. I think we actually hiked that. We didn't quite run it.
It's on the Washington side.
It's on the Washington side, not on the Oregon side. But it was a really fun hike, but it's also absolutely runnable. And just across the highway from that is a run that we attempted to do in the middle of winter, which turned out to be icy, which because it's up in the kind of higher elevations, it wasn't too surprising, but it was a wonderful, wonderful trail, and I highly encourage it in the summertime, probably spring and fall too. But.
Yeah, they close it down during the winter because it would be super dangerous. But yeah, it's really cool to get out there, and then right near there is Hamilton Mountain. So there's a ton of hikes, which we tried to do this winter. And that was a little scary because we were in running close. But anyways, moving right along. I'm actually going to look. I came across something cool called City Running Tours. And I realized this is not trail running. But if this is available in Portland, I think this would be really fun. I came across this site. I've never done it. I can't vouch for it. But it's like a guided running tour of cities.
I would totally do that.
So let me see. Do they say where it's at?
Nope.
No.
But you see San Francisco and DC are locations right up there.
Oh, gotcha. There we go.
Seattle.
Not Portland. Womp womp.
Womp womp. Next time.
All right. Well, when we talk about it, as far as finding trails, though, it's really easy. The city of Portland's even got a website. Again, they're very friendly to pedestrians, bikers, hikers, runners, all that. So you can look up, just trails in Portland. You're going to find a plethora of options. So the city's got its own, and it's got trail maps on the city website, which is pretty awesome. And then your usual suspects, All Trails, places like that. If you're into biking, maybe singletrack.com or a couple other websites. We'll be sure when we write the blog post again, and we'll link on this video to it, but we'll put in kind of the top probably 5 that people really like to do for various reasons. Either it's close to the city center, so you don't have to, rent a car, or, maybe the top trail of all. But I was trying to think too, as you go west, so we've headed east, we've gone to Mount Hood, that's a little ways out there. If you go west, you also hit the hills, and then you head out towards the coast.
The ocean.
Yeah, which again is some fantastic running out there. In between, it's a little flat, but once you get out to the coast, we've done some pretty cool hikes out there. I don't think we've done too much running on the coast.
No, I guess not.
But I would go out there if you're headed out there anyways.
Running on the beach?
Yeah, you can go to the Rogue Brewery in Newport. That's probably an hour and a half-ish from Portland.
Astoria has Fort George.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good call.
Great brewery.
Yeah, you can see that we keep coming back to the beer.
It might not be a theme, but it might
be. Good deal. Yeah, as far as getting around, I think you could get into some trail runs without a car. But again, if I wanted to get into if you want to go to the mountain, if you want to get into the real hills, you're probably going to need a car, borrow, rent, drive. You could probably get to some cool trails on the light rail, but you'd have to look in that. And I mean,
Portland does a really good job of, it's starting to really convert a bunch of kind of not dead, but kind of unused areas to parks with lots of trails. So you'll just suddenly come upon a trail in a lot of different places, which is really advantageous.
Yeah. As far as where to go for, if you're traveling there, as far as places to stay, it's a big city. We're not going to spend time on this. You've got your options: Airbnb, VRBO. Yeah, hotels, whatever. If you want to camp, again, you can camp out. I wouldn't be camping in Portland, but there's a lot of really cool places within 30 minutes easy of Portland.
And don't be afraid to go into Vancouver, which is just north of Portland on the Washington border.
Yep.
Typically, you can actually find cheaper places to stay, as far as even the prices on Airbnb get a little bit cheaper in Vancouver. And Vancouver is kind of booming as this wonderfully cultured city that is kind of, I wouldn't say the stepchild of, Portland, but it's definitely growing into this really, really diverse, beautiful little city. So.
Diverse and beautiful. I've said nobody ever about Vancouver. I like Vancouver, but it's it's the second biggest city in Washington now. So yeah, it's got a ton to do. And again, like Jenny was saying earlier about going out to Beacon Rock, there's a lot of cool trails. Same deal. You head east or west. Well, I guess west, you end up going northwest because of the way the river goes and the border's defined. But if you head out east, there's a lot of really cool trails really close to the city. Running stores, all that. To be honest, I haven't bought shoes or anything because usually when I'm traveling, that's not the time when I go to the store. So I don't have any personal recommendations.
I don't either.
It's a big city. Again, there's tons of the well-known stores. And I would say if you're looking for trails or some good gear, ask somebody or go local, find the local running stores. I think I looked earlier. I know there's a big one like the Fleet Feet, Portland Running Company, Roadrunners got a store there. There's a lot of stuff. So ask around. That's always a great way to find some really good stuff to do too. Some good trails is hop over to one of the running stores and just start chatting somebody up. I just put a blog post up actually, and we were one of the kind of side notes of it was, how are you finding trails? And I remember when we were in Breckenridge before the Trans Rockies, and we just walked into a running store and we ended up talking to the guy, and within 5 minutes we had this awesome 20-mile run laid out by a local that we never would have found. So it pays, and
cool.
I'm not the type to always just go in and start chatting people up, but it's kind of nice. It's well worth it.
I am the one that goes and chats people up. Yeah. If anybody, I go.
Yeah, I think I was bored and just curious what was around there. So yeah.
And obviously there's plenty of grocery stores everywhere. So you never have to worry about it. If you can hit up a Fred Meyer's, try to hit up a Fred Meyer's. That's my heart is missing Fred Meyer's over here. Anyway, can't think of any other grocery related type stuff.
I'm just going to make you feel awkward.
Stop.
Anyways, so if you head out there, by all means, please head to Multnomah Falls. It's so well traveled, but there's so many cool trails out there. So most people, I have no idea, the tens of thousands, if not more, of people that go there, but they only go up the 1 mile switchbacks up to the top. And then once you get behind there, there's some really cool trails. And again, go to the store, ask some locals and find out and have some fun out there. So
And if you're really into some post-run recovery, there's this great resort called Edgefield. It's run by a company called McMinimans, and they have a spa, and I highly recommend it. Not only that, but if you're with a group of people, it also serves as kind of a fun little, I guess, resort destination, as far as there's like a ton of little restaurant-y type things, and there's even like a whiskey and cigar shack, and it's super cute, wine cellar, and so you can kind of find something for everybody.
Cool. All right, well, I think we're going to wrap it up. We had some interesting technical issues. So anyways, if you got any questions about Portland or any ideas yourself or the surrounding area, by all means, leave a comment on the video wherever you're seeing this, and we'll get back to you.
If you have any comments too, feel free to give us any kind of feedback. Only good stuff though, please. None of this negativity.
Bye.